Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 5 of NieR Autonoma, Trial of the Bloom here. Of course, just Kiefer again. I don't think I need to keep reiterating that. I think I'll mention it when my brother joins, which I do plan on having him, at least chill and play with me. Or, well, not play with me, but rather watch me while I play. Yeah, something like that. Was not expecting enemies here as soon as we spawned, but hi, and welcome back. I hope everyone is having a lovely, jubbly day, as they say. And I hope life is treating you well. Anyways, so I wanted to talk about a little bit of something like, I guess more about the last episode a little bit. Also, I will probably be mostly focusing on doing side quests for this episode because when I initially played through this game, like just as a personal playthrough, I got really underleveled at some point and it really sucked. So I'm going to try to avoid that for this Let's Play if I can, so I'll do, side quests and all that good nonsensical stuff. I don't know why I say nonsensical a lot. Anyways, I really wish I knew how to get up there in a very convincing manner. Yeah, that really drops off. Okay. But anyways, without further ado, I kind of want to talk about like the last episode a little bit. Mostly because like I just kind of want to share like, my thoughts and stuff in general. But yeah, I was very, very, very conscious of the last episode because like as I was like going through and like talking and stuff, like I was just like, man, this is not a good episode. This is not a good episode. That's like all my brain was like basically screaming at me. And yeah, it's just so weird like how when you're being recorded, like I guess my mind goes in like fight or flight mode. It's like, I'm pressured. And I feel like, oh man, I was too quiet here. I didn't say anything here for a long time, or I'm also very conscious about repeating what I say sometimes. So yeah, there's just a lot of instances where I thought that during the recording, and I mentioned at some point during the recording that I really like this game for the fact that like you can't really like go back on your save. So like whatever happens, right? So if you advance forward and you didn't really like your performance, like in terms of like how you were speaking and stuff, like all that good stuff, right? Like, it's like tough crap. You just have to upload it anyways, because of the whole fact that you can't, go back and re-record it. And when I said that, like, I think that was like me being very subconscious at that moment, and being like grateful to it in that moment at the same time, oddly enough, because I didn't think last episode was going very well, and I was very conscious of it towards the, middle and end and all that other stuff. I unfortunately, my brain just goes in that weird state where it's like, I overthink everything, and I think everything that I just did was like poor and bad. And then when I look back and like rewatch it, I'm like, oh, that's actually fine. Like, what? Like, it's so weird that my mind perceives time very differently when I'm recording. It's just so bizarre. Like I'm very, very like conscious of like how much time has passed and stuff, and I feel as though like when I record, like I guess time just feels like it's moving slower than it actually is. So when I don't like talk for like, like even a second at a time, I'm like, man, that was a really long pause. In actuality, it's like, what? No, not really. You're fine, dog. So I just wanted to kind of share that because I don't know if other people feel that way. That's definitely how I feel. And so that's why I like talk a lot and like, like kind of ramble on sometimes, which I think is a good thing sometimes. And sometimes like, it's like, dude, shut up. Let the dialogue play. Let the game, be a game and tell you a good story. Yeah, so I mean, that's also fair. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that really quickly because I just literally reviewed it just now. And I was like, why was I tweaking about that? Speaking of tweaking, what am I supposed to do here? Yes, so we want to do something here. Why? Should I shoot it? That doesn't seem like the reasonable thing to do. Better not kick them while they're down, right? That's not very ethical. Anyways, I do have a rather long topic, at least when it comes to me, set out for today's recording. And this is you know, a little bit more on the personal side. And I don't mean like super like, I don't know, maybe it is deep, I don't know. Whatever, however you want to perceive it. But today I'm going to be talking about my my past with with schooling. So, now if you will please excuse me. Why? What am I supposed to do? Wait, I think, wait. Oh, okay, you have to stand here. Pristine screw in order to finish the repairs. Remains of other enemies. Pod, search for, okay. Okay, so we just gotta find this. Okay, cool. I agree with my nose here. But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about my past with school, because I think it's something I'm very passionate about, but I think for the wrong reasons. So I'm definitely gonna hold back a little bit on the emotions, because I don't think it's really healthy, some of the emotions that I have towards it. And so yeah, but I like want it to be more of an informative in this case. Like I still want to be expressive, but I think sometimes I'm a little too expressive with it. Okay, forgot, need to probably do the shooty shoot, right? And I will state this right now. My social life in school was pretty good. I'm not going to complain about that at all. Like, my social life was great. I had a good group of friends. Great, actually. I shouldn't sell them short. They're amazing. And my classmates were pretty cool. Like, I'm very happy with my class, and I'm very proud of my class overall. But yeah, being in a rural area and stuff, I'm from a smaller school, so. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good people in my grade. Like, personally, I think that. Like, I think they were really respectful, and there was like very little bullying. At least on, well, yeah, I'm not gonna get into specifics, but yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of bullying going on, which was really nice. So the social aspect of it was fine, but like the academic part of it is where I like have, you know, personal issues with. I don't know why the network's having issues. I wonder if my internet's having issues, but right now. But anyways, so yeah, let's just get right into it. So I've mentioned in the past that I was a big outside kid. And so all my life at this point, before going into kindergarten, I was outside all the time. And I don't know if this is just a rural area thing, but you know, my parents, along with every other parent that I knew. Oh, hold on. Okay, so see, I am knowledgeable, and I know the quick save here, and I'll show you why. Okay, so we take this quest from Jackass here. Okay. Okay, study on the excitement levels of androids while in battle. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, this is fine, actually. Carefully turn her down. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, this is not the same quest I thought it was, but hey, you know what? Just hold that thought for later on, okay? Pretend that didn't happen just yet. Ooh, wait, this guy is It's hard, I remember, right? Okay, cool. I love science, so I'm down. Oh wait, does she not want us to use her? I think that's what it is. Ah. Ow. Jeez. So oh, cool, we leveled up, so we don't have to worry about healing. Yeah, sure, I'll give you a hand. Without taking any damage, like, at all. 0 zip, nada. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. It's gonna be very avoidant here. I don't want to risk too much here. I know I'm playing like a little wuss, but she said take no damage. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Okay. Nice. Perfect. Don't worry, I will get to the topic, I swear. Are you allowed to say goons? Whoa! Yorha goons. So they're the gooners. I see, I see. Speaking of Yorha goons. Oh boy. Okay, kind of. I was thinking more killing and all that. Blah, blah. Cool, medium recovery. XP, gold. I guess it's gold. Yeah, sure. 30 seconds or... Ooh, God, I don't know if I can do that. Oh, I need to do the dunk. I don't know if I can do it. I'm not gonna lie. No, there's no shot, right? Not at this point. Oh, wait, I can use this. Stupid. No, we can do it. Just not this run. Can I stop? Can you? Okay. I did that really poorly. But that's okay. We can do it again. Yep, I agree. Oh my gosh. Use shit. Hold on, gotta focus up here. That's fine, stop. Don't care. Let's go. Surely I did it, right? Oh my gosh, that was really close. I just went full aggression there. Okay. Contain an algorithm which allows to derive pleasure from battle. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, sure. Oh no. Are you for cereal right now, jackass? No! You know what? No, I'm not doing this right now. I'm done. I got topics to talk about, jackass. I'm sorry. It's been 15 minutes and I still haven't even covered over the main topic I want to talk about. So anyways, going back to that whole parent thing. So parents, along with mine, of course, And then, like I said, I didn't know if this is like a rural area thing or, you know, if it's true everywhere. Or maybe it's like, honestly, the time frame that I grew up in. They really want their kids to be outside a lot. And so you were heavily encouraged to be outside. But since I loved being outside and I was outside all the time, I got praised a lot for that. Not from just my parents, but also my friends' parents, because I would get their kid to go outside, basically. And so I was outside constantly. And it's just interesting, though, because, right, like, you get told this whole time, like, you know, it's like, being outside is great. You know, like, you're heavily encouraged to do so. And you get really praised for it. And I think it's just bizarre. I'm just gonna look at Quest real quick. I think it's just really bizarre that when you go to school... right, this is what I want to do. I don't know where they get a pristine screw from. But yeah, it's just really bizarre. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's weird. I don't want to do that. Machine. Okay. Okay, so we need to go out to the desert anyways. So it's really bizarre when you go to school and like you just get locked up into these like this building for hours at a time every day. And there's a lot of things I can complain about with school. Like I'm very particular about like atmospheric that's a really redundant statement I was about to make. I was gonna say atmospheric atmosphere. But like the aesthetics of an atmosphere, right? So like what does the lighting look like? What's the flooring look like? You know, like all that stuff. It's just something about the lights and the white tiles and everything. Just it really rubs against, like it really is like sandpaper to my brain. I really don't like it. It's just like really bad, just bad vibes. You know, I hated it. I really hope this doesn't start the quest. It shouldn't. I had to talk to her first. Okay, cool. And so I just hated being there. I really strongly hated being at school. And I can't remember if it was like first grade or kindergarten. I asked my parents, like, you know, why are they forcing me to go to school? And their response was, well, the government forces you to go to the school. And, you know, I think that was just like a cop-out answer. Well, how did I get over there? Can you dash? No, I can't dash through you. What the hell? Oh, my. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Did I save? Alright, whatever. But anyways, when they told me that the government tells me to, or the government says that I have to do this, right? I have to do this thing I really don't want to do. My response to that was, you know, I answered pretty quickly. I was like, or not answered, but like responded very quickly to that by saying, well, then I hate the government. So, yeah, I hated school. I hated school so much. And the big part of the reason why was I wasn't outside and I wasn't like going out and seeing what wildlife was out there, because I was really big into animals, and I would say I was a savant when it came to like knowing animal species names and just like knowing a lot of things about them in general, like the behavior patterns and all this other stuff. Like I knew a lot of stuff in general about animals, and that was my strong suit, and I really like sciences. Well, with our education system and how it's set up right now, or at least back then, they don't really cover science that much. Like they don't go much into it until like 4th grade. So, you know, with little to no surprise, like that was my massive interest. And they weren't teaching any of that. They were teaching us how to spell and grammar and stuff. And like, yes, this is all really important. But I hated it. And I particularly hated spelling because it doesn't really make any sense to me. Like English spelling, even to this day, I still struggle with. I still hate like how it really doesn't have like much rhyme or reason to it. You know, it's like, why wouldn't it just spell the way it sounds? You know, I never understood that. I do have like some personal theories about it, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But I'm sure there's like a history to it, and I could be totally wrong about what I think about towards it. So I'm, you know, a very flexible person when it comes to perspectives and viewpoint, all that good stuff. I have never been in here. Wow, I really did not explore very much when I played this game, did I? Okay, really? Really, guys? You're not gonna... Alright. Restrict my freedom, eh? But anyways... Oh, this is level 10 shit. Yeah, so I really struggled in early school, and... back then, they also had this thing called AR testing. I want to talk about that really quickly, briefly, just because it's really important to, I feel like, my earlier development. But AR test is no longer, I believe, is no longer around. If I, you know, that's what I heard at least. I don't know if that's correct or not. But AR testing basically is just like, I'll just put it like very briefly. So basically you would take this test on the computer, and it would test your reading comprehension ability, right? So it would give you some passages, you read it, and then it'll ask you questions about the passage. You know, just like a way to test your reading comprehension. And then based on how many questions you get right and all that stuff, especially towards like, depending on the passage, right? Determines your reading comprehension level. And then they would assign you with a color-coded like level, basically. And they were based off of grades, like first grade, second grade kind of level reading. That's what I mean by grades. And I always scored extremely below average. And I was not doing well in school at all to begin with. I absolutely refused to do homework. I hated homework more than anything in the world. I could not stand homework. Because, like, in my mind, I've already given them my time throughout the day, which I feel like was a waste of time because they wouldn't let me outside, and outside good equals good, right? You know, based on like how I was raised, right? And just not even how I raised. Well, I mean, that's part of being raised like that, I guess. But also, you know, just like through, you know, outside of my parents, like, you know, other parents, like just my environment in general, highly praises being outside all the time, and yet I'm at school, and that's like the opposite, right? And so they're telling me that they want me to allocate more of my time, effort, and energy in doing their homework, which you can't really do outside very well, which means that it's more time indoors. And yeah, I just thought homework was, you know, bullshit, and I just refused to do it. And mind you, I was a pretty obedient kid for the most part. Like, I was very, very quiet, very shy, and I followed directions pretty well. Like, I didn't really have any like behavioral problems in terms of like acting out or like being like overly energetic or anything like that. Like, I was very, you know, like if they want me to sit still, I would do that. You know, like I had no problems doing that and like sitting there and listening to them talk for hours. But if they ask me to do homework, I'm just not gonna do it. Yeah, a lot of times, like, how do I get down there? Hold on, can I see it on the map, maybe? No, that's not very useful. I know I'm backtracking here a little bit, but I'm just gonna see if I missed something over here, maybe. Maybe I missed this here? Possibly? Yeah, it looks like I did. Anyways. Yeah, so I had a really hard time in school very early on. And my poor mom, oh man, she really worked with me as best as she could. And oh yeah, the thing is, my teachers were really trying with me, and you know, I was like a good kid for the most part. I just was really, oh my gosh, what the hell is going on? Just really struggling in school, and like I just was not doing the homework. And oh, this is where I came from. All right. I'll say screw it. So they were all trying to really work with me, but I could not get myself to do the homework. I just didn't want to do it. I would just shove that shit in my desk and just like crumple it up and just not care. I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I remember like purposely like crumpling up my desk because like, just like that's like my way of like showing my rebelliousness. Like, oh, this is how much I give a crap about this. I'm gonna crumple it up because normally I would lay it neat in my desk, but no, I didn't want to do it. And so, yeah, my mom had a really hard time, like getting me to do stuff. It was always a real big struggle. And like, I don't like being problematic. I don't like being confrontational. Like, I don't want to have any conflict. I don't like being in trouble. Like, God, that's the worst thing in the world for me as a kid, was being in trouble. And I didn't want that. But the problem was I didn't want to do homework more. Is really what it came down to. Like, something that like I couldn't stand was, people being upset at me. And so like, I think that's like pretty telling, like how much I really did not want to do homework. Like the fact that me not wanting to do homework was more powerful than me not wanting to get in trouble. And so I think that speaks volumes. And yeah, it was really hard. It was really, really, really hard for me to get myself to even like begin homework and like sit down and actually do it. Even once I start. And so what ended up happening was later on, my first grade teacher, which, she actually had a daughter in my class too. And we kind of like, I guess, became friends to some extent. And so like her mom became friends with my mom too. And so like, I guess we're like kind of like close-ish. And also I should mention too, like there was this weird, I look back at this because, like kid me didn't really think that it was odd, but now like as a grown up, like I know this particular scenario was weird. Hold on. Ooh, specifically 45 or 47 minutes later, not even 45. You said I was human? I don't know about that, 2B. Damn, we're getting some levels. Let's go. Okay. Cool. There's a lot of cool side quests.
機械生命体についてはまだ分かってないことが多い。どんな情報でもいいから集めておかないと。
Oh shit, it's one of these guys again. So, anyways, what was odd was that like my mom would actually be in the classroom with me. And I guess I never paid attention to that because I was like, oh, whatever, as a kid. But now looking back on it, there was no other kids in that classroom that had anything like that at all. And yeah, so like, and I was like also in this like, I don't know what they call that program. Maybe it was like special needs or something. But like, yeah, I would go to this other like guy who would help me like with some stuff, and he would also like test to see if I have hearing problems and all this other stuff, which I mean I didn't. And yeah, he just would like I guess like just kind of like help teach me a little bit more and just like help me with like various of things and all that good stuff. And yeah, I don't know what they call that program. Still to this day, I don't know what they call it. But I was, I would just go in there. like during the day at some point. And so anyways, going back to my first grade teacher, her and my mom like got, you know, I guess close-ish, like they were like friends and stuff. And you know, and then, like obviously just being a teacher, like a lot of teachers go into it for, at least in my experience, like for, you know, they're passionate about it. They really want to help kids and like secure their futures and like, you know, help them along their path. Holy zoom in. Can we like, where am I? What? Hey, game? Yeah, there we go. Can we like orient myself a little bit here? Okay, so all these red areas are good to go. I will talk about this just like very briefly, because this gets into a topic that's well beyond my understanding of the like I don't really know much about the topic, and there's a lot of misinformation about it. So like I want to be cautious here because I don't really know much about it to begin with, and I don't want to continue any further misinformation about it. But so my first grade teacher, you know, just being a caring person, so when she was growing up and when she went through school, she had a really tough time, and she found out later in life. Okay, hold on. Oh, talking about the hole. Yeah, it is curious, isn't it? But yeah, she found out later in life that she had ADHD. Did I say that right? ADHD? Yeah, I did. I don't know what's wrong with me. And she really struggled through school, and she really wished that someone would have told her. Oh, what the hell? She really wished that someone would have told her sooner in her life, and like would have helped her through, you know, through that. Right. So, hold on. What the? Ow. Can I... What is going on here? Hold on. Hold that thought. Like, okay, like, obviously, big yellow thingy. But... How? Like, stop. No, I don't need you to. Ah! Oh my gosh. There we go. Jesus. Sorry about that. So she had ADHD, and she thought I had it, and so she was really insistent on my mom getting me checked out and all that stuff. And I didn't know about this until recently, but because like I had the, I don't know, like I don't think things through sometimes, but so apparently I got tested, and based off the things that they heard, you know, like they got, you know, the, I guess, data. I don't know, it's not data. But based on, like, you know, what they were saying at school and the test that this doctor gave me. Oh my gosh, I just got flashbang. I was actually borderline ADHD. I didn't even know it was, like, diagnosed properly at all or anything. I always thought I wasn't. But, you know, I had that thought later on in life because I was like, well, I was on Ritalin, so how you know, that's not over the counter, I don't believe. Because I wasn't sure, you know, I didn't really question that. Dude, why? Just why? Just why? But yeah, in order to even have Ritalin, I think you have to have some kind of diagnosis. And I was borderline, so they, you know, they wanted to give it a try. And I am so sorry if this is causing motion sickness. This is ridiculous. Just, dude, stop. Come here. How are you supposed to deal with this enemy? He's driving me crazy. I just go. Die, 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 die. Dude. Okay, I'm kind of losing my mind over this. Sorry, my mind would not rest until he was dead. So anyways, yeah, so during my time in first grade, I was on Ritalin for like a month. And of course, you know, on top of having trouble at school, I also have a fear of swallowing pills. And I still kind of have it to this day, but I'm much, much better at dealing with it. I've like learned how to turn off my mind and just like do things sometimes. So that's how I swallow pills now. I still kind of have a little bit of a fear for it. Well, not fear, I just have trouble with it. And so that added for, you know, a long laundry, long laundry list of issues for my mom to deal with me. So it was a fight for her to get me to take these pills. And I hated them. We tried many different strategies and just like nothing was like really all that great. And then when I was on the medication, like I would just really hyperfixate really badly. And I was like super moody. Like very, very moody. I would like just start like, you know, like bawling and losing my shit over just like the smallest of things. And after like a certain, like nothing serious or bad happened, I overreacted. And like I just started like throwing a fit and bawling over like something really, really petty. And my mom, like after seeing that, she's like, you know what? You're not taking those pills anymore. And I just remember the biggest feeling of relief like ever, at least in that point in my life. Just, you know, like was overflowing through my being. Man, it just was such a lovely thing to hear that. And I was like free from that medication. So, and after that, like things did not improve for a while. Like it took me until like third grade and third quarter for me to actually like start turning my like school life around. And actually, I don't know what happened. I think it's just at some point like I found a way to like trick myself to be interested in like the things at school. Like, you know, I started learning that like there's like little like tricks that you can do to like basically get yourself more interested in stuff that you're not typically interested in. But yeah, I'm glossing over a couple things here that I wish to go back and talk about real quick. So I also did forget to mention this. I don't know what grade I was in, but at some grade, they had like an actual like serious meeting about this. They were wanting to hold me back a year. And, you know, that's really like, I think that's something you have to be really careful about, because like that could be really damning on a kid. And I know for a fact it would have been very much so for me. But they're seriously like talking about like holding me back. They had a whole meeting and everything with the teachers and parents, or my parent, my mom. And my mom was like, no, you're not going to hold them back. And they're like, well, we're going to have to do some testing and see, based on those results, if we are going to hold them back or not. And she was like, okay. And so I took the test. And it was funny because, like, I scored pretty low on everything but logic. And on logic, I scored extremely high on. So, based off of that results, the guy who did the test for, like, on me, which was the guy, I guess that was, I guess he was the special needs teacher. I don't know who he was. I don't know what his title was exactly. But when he did that test, and he was like, yeah, so based on these results, I don't think we should hold him back at all. Because, you know, he was also, like, on my mom's side, too. But, like, yeah, the fact that I scored abnormally high on logic just proved that like it's not that I'm cognitively like incapable of the like that grade level. It's just that I don't know exactly, but like a lot of those things that they cover in early school, like early elementary, logic's not really a strong thing that they really cover very much. It's a lot of the arts, right? It's like a lot of English spelling, grammar, and yeah, art class actually too. Those are more on the art side. Like I guess grammar is logic, but I guess spelling can be logic. Well, I mean, debatably logical in English, right? But yeah, but because of the fact that I scored high on logic was the entire reason why I was not held back a year. And then fast forward a little bit, third grade, third quarter, I basically turned it around, and I found better tools to get myself, like, trick my brain into being more interested in topics that it's not normally interested in. So that's how I combated that, and it took me a little bit to catch up, but like, I mean, I caught up pretty quick. Like that third quarter, like all of a sudden I went from like failing everything to passing everything. I got like C's and everything. It wasn't just D's, it was C's. And ever since then, like I just kept picking up. And then, yeah, I talked about this for a while now. there's just a lot to be discussed about with like school and stuff. And I specifically glossed over ADHD, which is what I was talking about earlier, and the fact that I think there's a lot of misinformation about it, so that's why I didn't want to talk about it much more. So I just want to clarify that right now, because I'm not going to self-diagnose or anything, because like I was borderline back then. I don't know what I would be clarified now, but that was something that did happen. So, and I didn't know about that until like literally this year. I didn't know it was like actually properly diagnosed with borderline. So anyways, but that was like like obviously this is back in elementary school, and I've never been tested since, so it's really hard to state whether or not that's true now. Is it possible? Yeah, I mean, like, I guess technically if you look up some like signs, I mean, yeah, I guess I could apply to some of them, but it doesn't mean like overall that you have this thing. And like you have to be careful with that, because like you don't want people to like have misinformation on that. But it's also not like that I necessarily want to like I guess don't want to gatekeep it either. But anyways, and then middle school, I actually started caring about school. Like I actually did a lot of my homework actually back then for some reason. I don't know what happened during that stage. And towards the end of middle school, I started slacking off a little bit more, and then when I got into high school, so dumbass me, I get in a lot of these advanced classes. I get advanced classes in everything but English. English was always my Achilles tendon, or is it Achilles tendon, right? Basically my weak point. And because it was my weak point, I was not able to get in that advanced class, but every other class I can get advanced in. So they had like an advanced math program and an advanced science program, which of course I did those, and I did exceptionally well in them, except for the fact that I didn't do the homework. And in the advanced classes they give out a lot more homework, and I just wouldn't do it. But my dumbass being my dumbass, of course, when we would go through the first day of school, they'd give us a syllabi, the syllabus or whatever, and they'll go over like their grading metric, and I would go through that and be like, oh, okay. So I see that of course every class has their test be weighed like a shit ton, and I would just calculate how much homework I didn't have to do, and like just how well I have to do on average on the test in order to get away with doing the least amount of homework as possible. That's what I did with my my brain. I would say intelligence, but I would say lack of intelligence. And so, yeah, I just wouldn't do the homework and just do well on the test, because I'm a really good test taker, because there's a lot of strategies that you can apply when taking a test and, use and abuse. Which is hilarious. But but also kind of like shows like our weakness in our current education system. Like, you know, if you're a bad test taker, you're kind of screwed. But if you're a really good test taker, you can really abuse those systems and get away with a lot of shenanigans that you really have no business getting away with. Hey.
推測所有者がな
どんな事情で再起動
Yeah,
し
why
て
was it abandoned?
使えるようだったら私を
起動確認アクセスせ所有者の上書き登録せ
Ah. Cool. Oh, what the hell? I was not expecting that. But yeah, I started really slacking towards right at the end of high school. And I was getting to a point where I was just like barely passing my classes. Like, dude, I just really have a hard time with homework. I still do. But it's funny because like if I'm really, really interested in a topic, I will study in my own time and like do it for fun. And it's not like, you know, I'm entirely lazy. It's just like a lot of times when I get off school, and this is going to be a very different topic for a very different day. I won't get into it right now, but there were reasons why I was like so mentally exhausted and checked out by the end of the day. And like when I got home, like I just like I don't want to think about school. So anyways, I'm gonna look at map real quick and see what's going on here. Retrieve confidential item. Yeah, speech was never my strong suit though. I will say that right now. I guess do I want to go this way? Wait, is this right? Why do you do that? Okay, yeah, so I think I'm heading the right way. Trying to think here. Yeah, we can fast forward a little bit. I didn't think I was going to go to college. I'm kind of rushing now because I know I'm getting towards the end of the episode. But going into college, I didn't think I was going to do it. But then I found out, you know, this wonderful language called Japanese. I started studying that, and that motivated me a lot because I was really like interested in it. I was like, holy shit. Like I actually like self-teach myself this, and it's so cool. Like, you know, I wasn't used to the fact that like I had this amazing resource, which is the internet, and like I can go on YouTube and people can teach me from there. And I like learned how to write and read and stuff, and I was like, hell yeah, I want more of this. And then I took a class. I didn't even know we had classes, but apparently we had classes like an hour away from us, and so I went and did that, and that just like whet my appetite to want to learn more. And so at that point I was like, man, I really want to go to university now. So we looked for universities that offer Japanese classes. We found one, and I couldn't major in it, but it could be a minor. And I was like, cool, I'll do that. And they also had a great study abroad program, and boom, bada bing, I went and studied abroad. And that brings back to the topic of I believe the third episode, which I briefly talked about. And I say briefly, even though it was like most of the episode, or a sizable portion of the episode, that I talked about my study abroad experience, but it's very like generalized because there is so much to be said. I was about to swing. Machine in love. Oh, hello. Okay. Well, we can't do anything with that chest right now. But yeah, my university life, I still don't have a degree to my name. That's probably gonna be a different video, to be honest. Especially since like it's definitely a longer and more in-depth topic, and it might not be. Well, I wouldn't say it's not like positive. I think it's positive. I learned a lot. But yeah, college is great, but it's definitely not for everyone. And I did benefit a lot from it, but you know, unfortunately, you know, there's like some hang-ups here and there. And some of my old problems from like my elementary self started coming back. And yeah, it's just it's kind of hard to get myself to do things sometimes, unless I'm like extremely interested in it. And yeah, there's not like a lot of things holding me back. which is how I feel towards like you know, like making videos and stuff, because like the reason why I can be more consistent like so far with making these types of videos is because it has less of the things that I dislike and a lot more of the things that I like, and it balances out in the way where I can be more consistent, and like I don't feel like there's as many things holding me back when I like want to do it. Because a lot of my problems is just like initiating. Once I start something, I'm good. But that initial step is so hard, and even knowing that still doesn't really help me, because I can be extraordinarily aware and like even in the moment, and it still just doesn't yield anything. But you know, it's just how it goes. It's life. You kind of learn how to deal with your shortcomings and your obstacles and all these other things, and a lot of times I don't even think they are shortcomings. I think they're just like something for you to use and utilize and to make yourself stronger as a person. So what the hell? Oh! Okay. Oh, it's a suicider. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that that was a thing. Oh, oh my god, that was terrifying. Well, that changed the vibes a little bit. Oh, these guys are level 38. Oh no. I'm surprised he just didn't one shot me outright. No. Yeah, I think we need to spend some time like doing some proper investments, because this has been rough. No. Oh my gosh. I haven't saved in a while. This might be a good stopping point, honestly. Oh man, wait. How long ago did I save? That was incredibly stupid on my part. But like, I didn't expect those suiciders and shit. Did I save here? Well, I mean, obviously I saved here. What am I asking? Okay, let me just assess the situation here really quickly. So, okay, cool. So, in order to save everyone's home, you know, what? In order to save everyone's time at home, not save your home. I mean, if I could, I would, but hopefully that's not an issue for all of you. But anyways, in order to save everyone's time at home, I'm gonna do this when I'm not recording, because I don't want to just repeat something I literally just did and waste your time. So I'll do that by the next time the next video comes out. But anyways, I think that's a good stopping point for right now. I'm sorry to get to really like I can talk forever about schooling and our education system and all that, you know, sweet jazz. It's something I do feel very passionate about, and to some extent, because I feel like I really wish that our education system would be better for people like myself, who are just, you know, they're not the typical, I guess you can say, however you want to phrase that. Because like I think I would have excelled really well if they went over sciences really early, because like clearly that's something I did very well in. I guess I will continue to talk a little bit more, because I just got like a sudden surge of passion just welling up inside me all of a sudden. But like, yeah, I do want to strongly emphasize, I really wish that our education system wasn't so much like it is, like more standardized and all this other stuff. I wish it was more personalized, because I think I could have excelled in different areas during my schooling time, like my schooling career, if you will. And like, yeah, I would have been a lot better at sciences, and I clearly shown that I was like more on the logical side of things, and that's probably what I needed. Like, obviously I need to learn the other things too, that's important as well. But like the fact that I would go into school and there was just nothing interesting going on ever. They didn't teach me a single interesting thing, and that was so frustrating for me as a kid. And it didn't get interesting until like 4th grade. with sciences and stuff. And also I just want to like talk about like the AR system really quickly as well. Sorry, I'm just like really speed running it a little bit, but the AR system, which is that reading system, was really damning on me as a kid because I really thought I was a stupid kid at that point in time, and that like gave me a numerical value of like how well, or like how like quote unquote dumb I am, you know, because I already had this preconceived notion that I was dumb. I guess I'll do this in the meantime. But I had a preconceived notion that I was dumb, and so like when I got a numerical value that, you know, indicated that like I was well below my reading level, just didn't really help at all. And come to find out, in 5th grade, my teachers they didn't really care about our scores as much when it came to the AR test. So they just let me read whatever the hell I wanted. And I've always wanted to read Harry Potter books, and a lot of the Harry Potter books were above the 5th grade level, which was, you know, obviously I was in 5th grade at that time. So I was like, well, if they're going to let me get away with this, I want to read Harry Potter. And it was something I was very interested in, and I loved the writing style a lot. And I picked up on it very well. And then with the AR system, you also have to take tests, like over the books that you read, and you would get AR points, and you need to have a set amount of points at the end of the semester and whatever. And I always struggled with that because I always read lower grade books, which were worth way less points, and the topics were incredibly uninteresting. And I come to find out, when I was doing like reading the Harry Potter books, I was reading a lot because I really enjoyed it, and like I was retaining all of the information extraordinarily well. And the AR tests were showing that, like when I did the tests on those books, like I got really high scores, and like I was, you know, like all of a sudden reading well above my grade level, and like I was one of the highest like people in terms of AR points out of my entire class that year. And it was just so odd, but then it showed me that I was like, oh, I'm actually not that stupid. I'm not actually bad at reading. Turns out I was actually really good at it, but a lot of my issues was when they did the placement test, I guess, if you will, they would give passages that are really uninteresting to me. Like, I mean, I remember in kindergarten when I took that test, I remember they were talking about this kid like learning how to tie a shoe, and I'm like, who gives a shit, you know? So I was like skim reading it, or I wasn't even skim reading it, I just wasn't reading it and just started clicking answers because I'm like, who cares? Like, I don't want to read this bullshit. It's so uninteresting, and like I just didn't really care. But my point with bringing all this up right at the end, sorry, I know I was supposed to end this episode, but the point of bringing this all up was the fact that that's also another standardized system, and obviously it had many faults. We got rid of it. Like, I mean, it's not a system anymore for a reason. It was terrible. It was really damning to someone like me because it's like, oh, well, here's this numerical value. You suck, you know? And in actuality, that wasn't even true. It wasn't even realistic at all because I was able to read books that were higher grade level than me by a lot and still score extraordinarily well in the comprehension part of it because it was interesting to me. So yeah, I really hope for that education becomes better in the future and it becomes less standardized and more personalized. But that's obviously a pipe dream, and I don't know if it's really a pipe dream, but it's a really hard dream to realize. So that's just a brief, glazing. I wouldn't say it's very brief, huh? It's not really the definition of brief when it takes, you know, like, what is this, 50, like almost an hour explaining this stuff. To be fair, I think I did start the topic at like 15 minutes in, so 45 minutes more or less of just me talking about this. So it's not very brief, but it is a glazing over my experience with like education and all that stuff, and you know, looking back at my school life. But anyways, I'm gonna end the episode now. Sorry for just like ranting and talking on forever. I hope it was interesting though, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Anyways, hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.